All right, so Conor McGregor is out of the USADA testing pool, and here's the video I'm going to do about that, or I guess like the question that I'm going to ask is Conor out of the testing pool because people started publicly asking why he was the only person who hadn't been tested, or is he out of the USADA testing pool because he wanted to be out of the USADA testing pool? Because in the event that he's out, because people like, I'm among a lot of people who started asking that question. If that's the reason, then shame on me. Shame on me for that. Because Conor being out of the game is not good for anybody. There's literally no one who benefits from Conor McGregor being out of the mixed martial arts game, except for maybe a person who has their title shot usurped by Conor. But candidly, even in that case, that gives them the opportunity to potentially fight against Conor when they go next if Conor wins. Everyone benefits from him being in there. Now, you might hate Conor McGregor, and listen, I know a lot of people hate Conor McGregor. Especially, I think that I'm a rarity being someone who really, really likes Khabib and Makhachev and all those guys, and then also really likes Conor. But it's because I'm just a spectator. I just love the sport. I love what those guys represent. I love what Conor brings to the table. Like, I'm a huge fan of both camps. But like, with Conor being out, it's just like, come on, man. It's like, it's so much more exciting when he's in the mix that if I contributed in any way to him having this 6-month thing to get back in the USADA testing pool, then I really wish I wouldn't have. But again, maybe it just is what it is. He's just out. Maybe we had nothing to do with it. But here's the thing, right? So why, himself? So why, let's just operate under the assumption for this video that he took himself out of the USADA testing pool. Like, why? Why? Why not just continue to get tested while you're filming this movie and while you're out, right? I don't necessarily think it has to do with what things he wants to put in his body. It might just be one of those things where he's that checked out of fighting. I'm sure he still trains, but he's that checked out of full throttle competitive, gonna fight the best guys in the world fighting, that he's like, what, I'm going to need 6 months to get back in anyway. So I may as well just take this time to myself. But, it's like what happened. It's like with O'Malley, dude. If O'Malley is in the mix and fighting for a title, it's going to be more exciting than any other person at bantamweight. But with Conor, it's like you can apply that to literally every weight class, every person. It's so exciting when he's fighting, whether you love him or you hate him. So it's just really disappointing that he's out. But here's the thing. I understand why he would be, I completely understand why he would be. And I'm going to talk about kind of the cost benefit of fighting from here on out for Conor. And we'll go from there. Now, before I do, though, if you would go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, that's the deal that I make. I make content. I give it to you guys for free. The only thing that I ask is if you watch a few of my videos, you just subscribe. You can just subscribe and then forget about it if you want, It just shows YouTube people kind of like his stuff. And so we'll suggest it to other people. So that's all I'm asking. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't before. We'll call it square. Also, I'm going to just throw out one more time, Yo Kratom, because if you like Kratom and you don't buy it on Yo Kratom, you're paying too much for your Kratom. And it's the bomb, okay? I am a connoisseur of Kratom, and it's the one that I use. And the kilograms are $60, okay? $60. It's an obscenely ridiculous price. They're just cutting out the middleman. Cutting out two middlemen. Instead of selling to distributors who sell to the stores who then sell to you, they just sell it to you direct. Anyway, yokratom.com, you'll love it. All right, so here's the deal. So if I'm Conor McGregor, right? Actually, let me rewind. What's everybody trying to accomplish if they're a professional mixed martial artist? Ultimately, what are they really trying to accomplish? Okay, yeah. So they want to win the title. They want to be a champion. Noted. Everyone wants to be the champ. Well, first of all, everyone wants to get to the UFC, right? Everyone wants to get to the UFC. That in and of itself, your first UFC contract, and I've, obviously I'm not speaking from experience, but I've validated this multiple times with people who are, current and former UFC fighters, that like your first UFC contract is equivalent to like the accomplishment at that time is equivalent to a UFC fighter winning the title. It's like it's this massive, massive deal, obviously. And then they want to win the title. So from an athletics perspective, that's what they're trying to accomplish. Now, what else are they trying to accomplish? They're trying to become a superstar so that they can make outlandish money. That's what everyone's doing in every job. That's what everybody's doing in every job. If you're in sales, you're trying to, have an incredible record, and both, in addition to your commissions, you get bumped up into a larger, more responsible role because you make a lot more money. And then once you get there, you're doing, you're trying to get into leadership. I mean, like, it doesn't matter. Like in this business, they are trying to become superstars so they can make as much money as possible. So fighting is a vehicle to get them to that place. Now, Conor, you know what? So one of the things that I taught, oh, by the way, I'm doing Frank Mir and doing Brendan Schaub's Fight Companion this Saturday again. So give it a look. It'll be, during Jake Paul, Anderson Silva, and the UFC, Calvin Kattar fight. But one of the things that we talked about on the Fight Companion this last weekend was about if Francis is able to secure a big boxing match. And this is Frank Mir saying it. I mean, I know if you watch my stuff consistently, you obviously know that I've said this exact thing a lot. But Frank Mir was saying that if Francis is able to secure a huge boxing contract, then it's really going to make all the other guys chase after them. And I totally agree. Obviously, I've said it a million times. But, and then we discussed how Conor had already done that. And Frank's all, yeah, but the thing about that is everyone just kind of understands like, yeah, but that's Conor. It's different. And that's totally true. And so when you take that and you apply it to actually being Conor, it's like, all right, so he's in a position where he's such a huge star. He's doing Roadhouse. He's got Proper 12. He's probably got all kinds of other businesses that you don't know about. He owns restaurants. He owns real estate. He's a magnate now. Magnate. Probably a magnet also. But it's like, if he's going to fight as a business person who has a very diverse portfolio of investments and things that he's doing, what's the benefit? Like, what's the cost benefit? So if he or what's the risk? So he goes and he fights. Okay, so if he wins, what happens? Obviously there's the component of he makes the money, but like, just take money out of it because he has lots and lots and lots of money coming in. Take the money out of it. It's like, okay, well, what if he loses? What if he loses? Does that really seriously damage his brand and his ability to do things? Yeah, it does. It would. And if he wins, does that seriously increase his ability to do things? No, it doesn't. I don't think. And so he'd be chasing after, goal number one, which is win the championship. And he's already done that. Double champ, first double champ. So he's chasing to reclaim a thing that he's already done before. And in addition to that, he's smart enough to know that he has to build his entire life around training again. And he's got so much other stuff going on. Like, this is not surprising. It's disappointing as a fan, but this is not surprising at all that he's out of the testing pool. And I don't know. One thing I will say though, Bilal Muhammad put up the funniest tweet today ever. And obviously I'm the 100,000 miles from a Conor hater, but I just laughed at the tweet because it was so funny. Bilal's all, so I went back and I watched Peter Yan versus Sean O'Malley 5 times. And after all 5 viewings, I decided that Conor McGregor is a shit human being that's never going to win another fight. It caught me so off guard. I literally I scream laughed at it, dude. I legit laughed so hard. So, but the thing is is he going to be able to focus exclusively on fighting and get to, good enough shape? He's not you can't just throw him in there with nobodies. I mean, you could, honestly, you could, but I don't think he wants that. I don't know. I just really hope that he comes back and fights because it's very, very exciting. But the USADA testing pool thing, so he's out. He's out for 6 months. He's going to need 6 months of testing before he can fight. So we're just not going to get to see him fight for a long time. If ever. But But I will say this, and I've said this before, I'll say it again. I am extremely bullish on his performance in Roadhouse. I think it's going to be excellent. I think he's going to kill it in that role. And I think he's going to just be an excellent overall actor on camera when he's playing a character and doing a thing. You know, Conor McGregor's going to get typecast. Obviously, they're not going to cast Conor McGregor to play a fucking cancer patient who's trying to mend the wounds between him and his, estranged child. Like, he's going to play a tough guy. He'll play a version of himself. And he'll do, or at least a character that's somewhere in the realm of him. And he'll do a great job of it. I think it's going to be really good. But Jake Gyllenhaal doesn't know how to punch. So maybe Conor can teach Jake Gyllenhaal how to look a little more believable on camera. It's like, stop arm punching, Let your body do that, Boom. Your body goes first, Jake. But I'm excited for the movie. Love you guys. Peace.